Hey everybody, in this video we're going to share our experiences in Guanajuato, Mexico.
Where we took an overnight trip from San Miguel de Allende and loved it.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Debbie.
And welcome back to the channel. So we are sitting here in beautiful San Miguel de Allende where it's a sunny day, but we have a nice little kind of shade over us. So if we look a little splotchy, that's why. But we thought what we would do is talk a little bit about a day trip that we took to or an overnight trip, I guess, to a neighboring city here called Guanajuato.
So we took a bus again. And if you watched our video on getting here to San Miguel, you would have seen we took the ETN bus and we loved it. Super comfy seats. So again, we took an ETN bus. It was an hour-and-a-half journey to get to west of San Miguel de Allende. Now, it's a windy road. I did get nauseous, so just a little bit of caution. It's if you're prone to a little bit of motion sickness, it's possible.
Yeah, and the bus that we took was a double-decker bus. So, when you're winding through the roads, we noticed that the top level of the double-decker bus tends to move a little bit more. So if you have the choice and you have some motion sickness, you might sit on the bottom level instead of the top level.
Yes. So we arrived in Guanajuato. We took an Uber to our hotel, our bed and breakfast, more or less. It was a very interesting drive because Guanajuato has tunnels throughout the city.
It was so cool. Like Guanajuato is a very mountainous city. And so if you were to drive, if you didn't have these tunnels, I mean, man, going up and over and up and over and up and over would be tough. I have never seen literal intersections in a tunnel under a mountain.
And the intersections would say centro this way.
Yeah, they had signs.
Yeah, they had signs. And that was very interesting for sure.
You had and there weren't stop signs, but there were 4-way intersections and people would roll up and figure out who was going next and who was going where. It was absolutely amazing.
It was definitely interesting. So where we were staying was down right off Centro, and the driver dropped us off on the street. However, our stay was up the hill a little bit, and there's no roads back up in there. It's just pathways. And we had just brought little backpacks because we were just doing an overnight trip. So that was no problem for us. But, in case you're bringing a suitcase or something,
she says it was no problem. But as we're hiking up those hills, they're hills.
They are hills.
So you got to be ready for it.
So where we stayed was the Casa de Pita. It was
cute little
it was very cute.
Yeah.
$62 for the night. It was listed and came with breakfast, but when we checked in, they asked us if we wanted breakfast, and they said it would cost extra, and we just said no.
And I had read that in the reviews too, that some people were a little surprised because it was billed as like a bed and breakfast, and you can get breakfast, just it's not included in the price. So, but
that's okay.
We knew we were going to be out and about anyway.
Yes, and it was just for one night, and our room was very charming. It was a 2-level room. So when you walked in, you had all the living room and everything. We had our own little balcony. And it was very tiny, so it just barely fit 2 people.
It's a Juliet balcony, so it's like literally both of us had to squeeze in to get on the table.
And 2 little chairs, yes.
And it had a spiral
staircase to get up to our bedroom.
Yeah, you'll see it in the video.
Yeah. Which for one night was okay, but maybe not more.
I told Deb, because the bathroom was on the main floor, the bedroom's on the second floor. I'm like, if you have to get up in the middle of the night, be careful, because those spiral staircases, they'll bite you.
But the house itself had several rooms. There were several other guests there. And then one of the best parts about the house was the rooftop. So they had rooftop terraces, and it felt like these terraces just kept going and going. Like there was different rooms up there, different outlet spots.
3 different kind of levels. Yeah.
So that was definitely a bonus.
And I do have to say, the hosts, they were super sweet. They were really nice getting us checked in, asking us if you needed us anything, took us on a tour of the room. So just a really, really, really nice place to stay. Okay, so we got checked in to Casa de Pita, and we knew that we wanted to maximize our time there. So we immediately let's go explore.
So we went and walked around Centro until we were hungry. We had more or less a late lunch, early dinner. at the Maria Cocina Urbana.
Yep.
And I had a mojito and Miner's enchiladas. So Miner's enchiladas are pretty popular there, and there's some history behind it.
I think the Miner's enchiladas are really like a Guanajuato specialty. So, and I had a burrito that was absolutely amazing. And then I had instead of a margarita, I had a mezcalarita. So it was margarita just made with mezcal.
And I tried his drink and I was very jealous.
Loved it. She wanted it.
So after filling up on our meal, we walked to one of the most popular things to do in Guanajuato, and you should not miss this. Is the funicular.
Yep.
So the funicular was built in 2001. It cost us $4 each round trip. It is less than 2 minutes to ride up to the top. But once you get up to the top of the funicular, it is just amazing.
It's a beautiful
views.
view. Yeah.
So the views were just, I don't know, they were incredible, and you just can look on forever and all over Guanajuato.
The really cool thing I liked about it is you are perched on top of the city, and you can see all of the color of all of the different buildings, and you can see the main theater, the teatro, and you can see like the statues on top of it. You can see the domed buildings. I mean, you can see everything. It is an absolutely fantastic view of Guanajuato.
It is. And once you get up to the top, from so many places within Guanajuato, you can see this statue sitting up on a hill.
Yeah.
And that is the pipila. And it's, so when you take the funicular up, you're going to be right there with the pipila.
Like and right underneath it.
Yep. And it was a statue that was dedicated to a miner turned hero. So back in 1810, he was part of the Mexican independence movement. So anyway, that was pretty fascinating.
It's really cool. I mean, and there was, that was, it was a great way to kind of look around all of Guanajuato and realize, man, like we were staying in the centro area, but there was so much more to explore all around the city.
So that night, so we did that. We went back and rested for a short time, but we were short on time, so only a short time. And then we went back out into the city again. And so we went out looking for dessert because we had such a late lunch.
I think that was our only mission was to go and look for gelato is what we were looking for. And we got so much more.
We did. So we stumbled across, actually we could hear it from quite a ways away.
About 10 blocks away. I was like, I think there's a parade coming.
We stumbled across a parade. So we sat and watched that for a while. It was a lot of drums in this parade.
A lot of drums. I think it was like, there was like maybe 6 or 7 different drum corps just following each other, drum and trumpet corps. So that was kind of cool.
And then it was just fun walking around Guanajuato at night, actually, because there was different musical performances. There was one right in front of the Juarez Theater.
Correct. Yep.
And we did settle on dessert. We both stopped and got some ice cream. And again, when we were eating our ice cream, we listened to the parade because I think it was following us.
It followed us. Like we watched for a while, and then we walked back towards the centro, towards the theater area, and the parade just kept coming right behind us. So that was kind of cool.
And so eventually we made it back up to our room. Now, our room did not have any air conditioning, and it was pretty warm that day. So we slept with the windows open, which was fine.
And they gave us a fan.
And they gave us a fan.
That was great. Yep.
But because we were sleeping with the windows open, we basically got free entertainment for quite a while.
We got a lot of free entertainment. It was really cool. So if you go to Guanajuato, and we didn't kind of understand this until after, and it was too late. So we didn't, but we got benefit from it anyway. But you'll notice, so Guanajuato is a university city. So there are lots of, you'll notice when you're walking around, there are lots of the students are walking around in colonial dress, and they'll have a card and they might want to talk to you. And we didn't want to do any tours, and we didn't need anything. So we were like, no, thank you. And what we figured out was they were signing people up for these evening alleyway tours. And so the evening alleyway tours happened to go by our window. And so I'm not going to try and say what they are, but basically the tour. And
we were on the second floor, so they were kind of going right under us.
They were under us, and we got a little bit of video of them. But, so basically the tour guides are these singing tour guides that are going to they take a group of people through the alleyways, and they sing and do comedy and do dancing. And every group that went by was having a great time.
Oh, yes.
They were having a lot of fun.
And we were having fun listening to them.
We were. We sat up. We sat on our little balcony and watched some of it for a little while. And we thought it was just one.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one came 15 minutes later. And they continued till probably 11:30 or midnight. And it was actually really cool.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
It was a good way to end our first day in Guanajuato.
Listening to people having a great day, singing, dancing, having fun.
Yeah. Okay, so after our busy day on Saturday, and it was busy, we got up Sunday morning. We decided to have breakfast before we headed off for our adventures for the day.
Check out the rest of Guanajuato, or some more of Guanajuato. Yeah.
And so there is a square that's pretty popular just down by our room, right across from the Juarez Theater, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the Union Garden. And there are several restaurants and cafes down in that area. So
we chose an outdoor cafe.
I wanted to sit outside.
Right.
And so we sat and it wasn't a cafe. We chose an outdoor restaurant.
Outdoor restaurant. Okay.
It was a Mexican restaurant.
It was a full-on Mexican restaurant, yes.
And it was like, I had very, very sad French toast there. But I blame myself because I ordered French toast from a Mexican restaurant.
I had an outstanding traditional Mexican breakfast.
Yep.
It was really good.
My coffee was good.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean... Yeah,
but that was okay. That was my fault.
It was an okay way to start the day.
Yes,
we had coffee.
So we checked out of our
bed and breakfast.
And then one of our main attractions we wanted to do while in Guanajuato was the Museum of the Mummies.
Yeah,
and I had looked to see how much an Uber was because it was outside of Centro.
Yeah,
but then when I looked how long to walk it was 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, well that's fine for us.
We walk 30 minutes all the time.
Yep. So we walked the museum. Oh, there was a lot of uphill. Yes. So we walked our 30 minutes to the Mummy Museum.
Yes.
But it was worth it.
Oh, it was.
It was a very cool museum.
A little on the disconcerting side.
And a little bit disconcerting. So there are over 100 mummies at this museum. They're all out on display. And we noticed in the display cases that they were temperature controlled too. Like they had the little...
For sure. To preserve them. And I mean, and it's because they're so well preserved. I mean, if you're wondering what is a mummy museum, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a museum filled with lots of mummified remains. And I will tell you why.
So in the early 1800s, there had been an outbreak of cholera. So there was just several cemeteries went up. Well, in about 1870, the government started telling families they had to pay a burial tax. Yeah. An ongoing burial tax.
So to stay in the ground, you had to continue to pay. Yeah.
And those families that didn't pay, they started digging them up. So this museum was built on top of where several of those mummies had been buried.
In the cemetery. Yeah.
And because of the climate in Guanajuato, the mummification process was just a natural process.
I think that when they started to dig them up, they were very surprised all these old graves were very well preserved.
Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't take any video of the children because that just kind of creeped me out. But I will say the smallest mummy is at this museum.
The smallest mummy in the world. Yeah.
And it was a fetus of a mom. The mom had died of cholera, and the mom is also there.
The mom and the baby are there together.
And so it's a really tiny little fetus. But I don't know. It was very, very interesting. A little bit maybe
disconcerting, I think is the word. Yeah. But it is something, I mean, it is unique in the fact that something in their climate here basically preserves the dead in their natural state. Yep. They were buried. So it was kind of interesting. And it's part of Guanajuato's history, so it was worth seeing.
It was definitely worth going to. Yeah. So after that, we walked back towards Centro, but not all the way to Centro. No. And we stopped for lunch, and we stopped at Las Cuatro Puertas.
Yes, the 4 doors, which we kept missing it. We kept walking by it because the front door of it is actually very small. Yeah. But inside, now you understand why it's called 4 doors, because there are multiple doors to be able to go to different areas.
And it was pretty warm that day, and we were warm for walking, but from walking, but we still wanted to sit up on the terrace, so we did.
The terrace had an absolutely gorgeous view.
Yeah, it was so nice. And so we sat up on the terrace. We split an Italian baguette.
Which was a great sandwich.
And I had some lemonade, and you had was it a mango?
It was a juice. A mixture of juices, which was really good.
So that was kind of the end of our stay in Guanajuato, and it was a great meal on a terrace, and that was a nice way to end.
It was a good way to end. Yeah.
And then we caught the bus back to San Miguel de Allende.
We took the bus right back, and it ended up, down at the main station here in San Miguel de Allende, which ends up being, we take a 5-minute Uber or a 15-minute walk back up to our house. So that was it. I mean, it was a very fast, short overnight trip. I will tell you that Guanajuato on a Saturday night, if you can be there, it comes alive. It's really cool. It felt
really fun.
It was a fun, very fun, festive city in the centro, which is the main tourist area. We had a lot of fun. If you have questions about Guanajuato, or if you have like an experience that you want to share that people should look for or try, make sure to share them in a comment. Otherwise, be sure to like and subscribe.
And thank you for joining us.
And we will see you in the next video.